everyone, and welcome to our product webinar. Today, we'll walk you through what's coming in our next release and how we build on what's been built. Never mind, I think I was talking on mute. So, hope everyone can hear me now. But good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our product webinar. Today, we're going to show what's coming up in our new release for MyToyota Store, and MyInsights. So as usual, we're going to start off with our analytics and a quick look back on what the journey has been for last year. And then we'll look at MyToyota's new homepage experience, followed by some subscription upgrades for MyToyota Store, compliance and reporting for MyInsights, and then finally some platform enhancements and updates. All right, so before we jump into the release details, I wanted to take a quick look at the year before. Our team has put together a short video here that does a recap on what we focused on last year and what we've been able to unlock. So I'll play this video. Awesome. So that really illustrates how we were able to hit a lot of our milestones last year. And we're so grateful for all of you here on the call as well that have helped keep the momentum going. And so with that, I'll hand it off to Katina to walk us through what the user experience looks like now.
Thank you very much, Rafty. Is it just me or is it black? Okay, all right. So if you attended our last webinar, you know that we've been talking about Jack Pallison and his journey through MyInsights with MyToyota. So today, where Jack is at, if you've missed the prior webinars, he manages a connected fleet in MyToyota, and he already has a MyInsights subscription, and he uses that MyInsights daily for the performance and the visibility within his operation. Now, Jack would like to upgrade his account to the compliance package. So we're going to walk you through what Jack would have to do and what that user experience is like throughout MyToyota and the MyToyota ecosystem to allow Jack that higher compliance package. The first thing that Jack is going to notice is that when he logs into MyToyota in our next release, we have revamped the dashboard to be more informative and more engagement with the roles which we have within MyToyota. What does that mean and what will that look like for Jack the next time he logs in? The next slide will show you like a before and after. On the left, you're going to see what that current dashboard looks like in MyToyota if a user were to log in today. This is the same dashboard which every type of role that we have in MyToyota sees. If they don't have permissions to certain things like the units or the equipment orders or finance details or equipment orders, then those information will just be blank. Or if this is a brand new MyToyota customer and we don't have any data within our source systems to display to them, it would be blank. And it's kind of unclear to the customer what is the value that MyToyota is offering to them. So if you see on the right-hand side and you see the new dashboard, you can see that we've personalized it. Now when Jack logs in, he's going to see, hi, Jack, Palestine. I should have added that to the slide. Sorry that I didn't capitalize on that opportunity. But he'll also see it be more targeted towards the things in our digital ecosystem, meaning that he's going to see the alerts at the high level. So the alerts that are coming in for things that he needs to take as far as user actions. Jack is a company admin, so he has the obligation to approve any new users in his enterprise account. He will see that first thing when he lands on this dashboard. He'll also have a quick link section, which is brand new, that will link out to the MyToyota Store, the MyInsights portal, since he has connected units with subscriptions. He can also request a quote or service or go to the buy parts very quickly from over here. He still will see the familiar widgets that he saw previously in the new section, and those will behave similar to the existing widgets, which is they'll only be seen if the user has permission to it. If they don't have permission to those items, then they won't see them. But we did add some additional insights to those widgets, so Jack would quickly see what is the importance around this information. So he'll see if the weekly impacts increased from the previous week or went down from the previous week. For the service, he'll see how many service requests are still in the open status versus the closed status. For the MyToyota Store, he'll see that those orders, how many are still pending delivery and how many have shipped out. So then it's more insightful for the user. We also added a resource center so that Jack is aware of all of the help items that we have developed for him. So any of those articles around how to add locations, how to bulk add equipment, or request new users, all of those help articles are easily located and highlighted for him over there. We also have the find a forklift if he's thinking about expanding his fleet and needs to find that perfect piece of equipment, which links out to our marketing website. He also has the ability to find a dealer if he's looking to expand his enterprise and maybe they're about to open up another an operating location in another state and he wants to know who he needs to contact and work with for that. So it just makes it easier to access those tools. And then lastly, you'll see the export section, which is new. One of the largest features on MyToyota is downloading those tables that have all of the data. So on My Fleet, when you can download your whole fleet table, when you can, in the connected solutions, download all of your MyInsights data in bulk. We're making it more accessible to get to those tables and to download them. Do we have Well, I think we muted all of it. So if there are any questions around the new dashboard, can you please add it to the chat and I can answer those. If not, we can move on to the next section and I will pass it on to Lindley so that she can further explain what Jack's journey is like after he hits this new dashboard.
Awesome. Thanks, Katina. Okay, so before I get into the upgrade flow, I have a quick recap. I think we've shown this in at least the last demo we had, but just a high level of the steps. So where you can purchase the kit on MyToyota Store, after installation, how you can purchase a subscription also on MyToyota Store, and then going to step 4, seeing the data in MyInsights, as well as managing subscriptions in MyToyota. So just a quick recap there for you. And then again, before I get into upgrades, I did want to throw out a quick poll, or Katina or Rafety could help me get that launched. I wanted to just review another question I had, if dealers can order subscriptions on behalf of their customers on MyToyota Store. So just a quick poll there, and don't worry if you get the answer wrong. We're going to cover it in a slide to come as well. Okay. So upgrading MyInsights subscriptions. There was a slight change in our release plan. We were originally aiming for February 2nd launch date. Now we're looking at March 23rd for a go live date. So pushed a little bit out there. Essentially, it's related to some issues we discovered in testing. And we just needed some more time to get those corrected prior to launching. So our new date again would be March 23rd for this. And so we're still going to cover what's to be expected in the near future surrounding subscription upgrades so you can get a sneak peek. Okay, so first, where will the user go to upgrade? Or in this case, where will Jack go to upgrade? So a couple different areas. The equipment page on MyToyota has a tab called Connected Solutions. So from there, within the drop-down options, the upgrade subscription button will be available. And another area, upgrades can be accessed within the subscription overview section. From there, the manage subscription drop-down options will show you an upgrade selection as well. So once upgrade subscriptions has been selected from MyToyota, we'll see a pop-up reminder, or Jack will see this pop-up reminder, and it'll just be a friendly reminder to ensure you're proceeding with either a single VIN or if you've selected multiple VINs there, and then it will prompt you into that intermediate screen, which will show the primary subscription address, payment method, the connected VIN count, and what plan is already running for those specific VINs that were selected, and as well as a feature list for each plan offering, so you can kind of get an overview before you get into MyToyota Store. So once that plan is selected in this screen, Jack or the user will be seamlessly taken to MyToyota Store to then take a look at the subscription details page. And just a quick side note on this slide, I wanted to mention that before we get into that subscription detail page, you can always access the subscription details directly from MyToyota Store by navigating to the Connected Solutions category in the Services tab, and then simply selecting Buy Now to get more details of each subscription. Okay, so now on the subscription product page, we call it, once the subscription is selected, there'll be an upgrade tab that I've circled. So in this tab, you will specifically see the VINs that are eligible for upgrade, the primary subscription address, the current plan that VIN is running on, and then the date the plan is set to end. So in this slide, I've also included the refresher, circling back to my poll as well. So for factory subscription orders, those can be included when quoting and ordering new equipment. And then for those aftermarket subscription orders, customers only can purchase them directly from MyToyota Store. So, and then who can place these orders online, what roles would be needed. So we have company admins, fleet managers, and then of course, anybody with a custom role permission to enable manage for the connected solution subscriptions. Okay, so now that Jack has selected the VIN within the upgrade tab of the subscription product details page, he's ready to flow through the checkout. So a few things different that we will see in the checkout area on the next slide is there is an upgrade VIN noted along with the selected term. So he'll see that just to note that's upgrade versus a new. When the subscription is going to end will be in that view and edit all link, as well as the price per VIN. And then if he needs to remove something, there's a trash can that's listed there as well. So also currently users can only check out with VINs that they would like to upgrade, or new subscription purchases, so not both at this time. And then once that order is placed, I wanted to show a few things that are slightly different in the order details section. So there is a adjusted amount, and this is the anticipated upgrade amount minus the remaining balance from the previous plan, and that is including taxes. So we have a tooltip to map this out for you, and also a very handy link with an example of how that calculation is done, and it can be referenced at any time. The link is called How We Calculate the Adjusted Amount, so ample resources here. And then the final thing that I wanted to cover is how email confirmations will look when an upgrade is purchased. So pretty straightforward here. For upgrades, we have the details of the order, the total cost, current monthly total, and then a link to manage the order if the user wants to view additional details there. And then, of course, if there's any refunds that have been approved and processed, you'll also get a specific email triggered, and that will include the primary subscription address, payment information, a summary of that refund, the refund total, and then again, a manage order link. So once the vehicles have upgraded to this subscription package, users will want to see helpful tools directly within MyInsights, of course. So with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Lee, and he can talk through some of the exciting things to come for MyInsights.
Really, sorry, before Lee starts, we do have a question in the chat, Lindley. In terms of balances to be paid, do Canadian customers see VAD?
Yes, yep, they will.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and thank you, Lindley. And it's a good day because Jack is now in MyInsights. So, Jack today is going to be checking out two of our new features that we've been working on. So, both of these features are centered around reporting. So we're going to hop over to the reporting tab. If I can get this slideshow to work. Great. And we're going to hop over to the checklist summary report specifically. All right, if we could go forward one more time. Wonderful. Now, what you'll see with this new checklist summary page is that we actually reworked the details grid. So you can actually see all of the checklists more easily when you're at a specific site. We cleaned up some of the columns. We've color-coded the assessment results so you can see what checklist failed and easily see why. But we just cleaned it up because if you have a full fleet that's connected at a site, that could result in tens, if not hundreds, of checklists a day. So we tried to slim it down and make it as readable as possible. But one thing you'll see is if that you click on the underlined submission time, you'll notice that our checklist assessments details pop-up is also redesigned just to be a lot more readable. And so you can identify maybe why a checklist failed a lot easier than previously. Let's hold off on that poll real quick because the second feature I want to show to you guys is report scheduling. So every report at the site level, you'll now see this schedules tab. And if you click on it, it'll take you to this new feature that we have where you can schedule a report to be sent out on an sent out via email on a recurring basis. And that's for any of the site level reporting, whether that's impact report, site snapshot, vehicle utilization report, and so on and so forth. Not only can customers now do this, but as a dealer, if you have access to that specific site, you can actually drill down to that site and set up your own reoccurring schedules to be sent out. So on the top left, you'll see a screenshot of the main report scheduling grid. And here you can see all the schedules set up for that specific report. You can also add a new schedule, clicking that plus button in the top right. But if you click that add schedule button or one of the existing schedules, it'll take you to this report scheduling setup screen. And this is essentially where you can set up your schedule. Can we head back real quick? Thank you. And with that, you can define, the frequency of the report, whether that's weekly or monthly, or maybe you just want a specific report quarterly. You can define what kind of report is attached to the email that is sent out, whether you want, your impact report to be an Excel or a PDF. And you can also define who receives the email in that to line. All you really have to do is just know their email handle, and you can just plop it in right there. And also, you can customize the format of the email itself. So you can include specific details like what the schedule name is or who the specific entity is that report is about. Alrighty, so that's about all I had to show you for MyInsights. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Katina to talk about my fleet enhancements.
Thank you, Lee. I'm sorry for getting a little pool happy there. Everyone can now submit their votes. Now I'm going to be just discussing Jack's change of experience around his fleet management. So Jack is a company admin, and as a company admin, he has the ability to make updates in my fleet and add and remove equipment. In this PI, we recognize the importance of the MyInsights subscriptions around the removal process, as this will impact their subscriptions if they were to successfully do this. So Jack is going to see very familiar steps in the removal process. Today, we already display both of these screens to the customer, where we ask them to give us a reason, and if that reason qualifies for there to be a comment, we will ask for a comment, and then they can press next. The difference now is when the customer presses next, on the back end side, we're going to be checking to see if there is a subscription associated with this vehicle. If we detect that there is a subscription that is associated to this vehicle, we're going to display a message to Jack to make it very clear to him that what the impacts are if he chooses to remove this vehicle. What that impact is that if he removes the vehicle, if he would like to remove the vehicle, we'll display a message to him that says, when you remove this vehicle from your fleet, the associated MyInsights telematics system subscription will remain active and visible in your subscription overview until 12/31/2025, or whatever date is his subscription is to. However, upon removal, My Fleet and MyInsights will no longer display the vehicle, and you will not have access to most of the MyInsights data associated with the removed of the vehicle. Jack will have to select the box and say that he is authorized representative of the MyInsights telematics system subscriber and understands and agrees to the two sentences above. So what do those two sentences truly mean for the user experience when Jack agrees to it? What it means is that Jack has a prepaid subscription. So if he has prepaid for 24 months and he is in month 3 and he's choosing to remove this equipment, he is telling us that he no longer wants to see the MyInsights data related to this vehicle. Because we know, and you know as dealers, that when a customer removes a vehicle, that means we remove their end customer number off of the warranty. So therefore, MyInsights and MyToyota will no longer display this to the customer. They are self-reporting that they do not have this equipment, or they've either sold it to somebody else. However, they have already prepaid for a service which is associated to the equipment. Customers are legally agreeing when they purchase the MyInsights subscription that what they are purchasing is tied to the equipment, not to them as a customer. Therefore, when Jack removes the piece of equipment, he will still see that he had purchased that subscription on behalf of that VIN, but if he selects that box and presses submit, he will no longer see the data associated to that piece of equipment for his organization. Now, if he chooses and sees that warning and decides that he is wrong and he would like to abandon the process, all Jack has to do is press cancel and he will abandon the process, and that piece of equipment will remain in his MyFleet as well as his MyInsights system. I know that was a lot, so I am going to launch a question really fast just to see if I had explained it well enough, just to make sure that it is clear whether or not a customer can remove a piece of equipment with a subscription or not.
Katina, while the poll is up, looks like we have a question. So if a customer removes a piece of equipment, will that automatically update the UIO list?
Yes, it will automatically update the UIO list. And as our last release, we had announced that we are doing auto approval for the dealer accounts that are not national or fleet accounts. And the dealer's UIO administrator will receive an email for both the old dealer and the new dealer of the impact from any changes made within MyToyota UIO. And that brings me to my next one, which is the bug update. In our last release, we did have a bug where the old dealership was not receiving the impact. So if a piece of equipment moved from dealer A to dealer B's UIO administrator was receiving the email of the equipment move, but dealer A was not receiving the email of the equipment move. This has since been fixed. And if you believe that you are not receiving any of the UIO updates from MyToyota, please notify us. I do see that I have another question. If a truck is removed and unsubscribed, does the customer lose access to historical data related to that truck? i.e., if OSHA shows up and says, I want to see every inspection for the past 6 months, can they get that, or is it gone with the unit? The customer can, Lee, if I am wrong in saying this, please correct me, but the customer can see anything while that end customer number was associated to the vehicle. Once the end customer is removed from the vehicle, then they are no longer getting that checklist because it's not on the vehicle anymore, but they'll be able to look back to their historic time that they owned that vehicle. And that is correct. I'm getting a head nod from him. I see. So to answer, if they said, I want to see every inspection for the past 6 months, if they had that vehicle for the past 6 months in their MyInsights portal, then they can absolutely give them that documentation because that will be in their historic information. Some other bug updates that we have resolved in MyToyota that were reported that impact the user experience is last release, we had updated French translations. When we did that, we had made an update to the URL, which created login issues when users were coming back because that URL had changed. We had since put out a correction that every version of the website will clear out our users' cache so that they no longer have any login issues every time we release a new version of the website. If your customer does experience any login issues, please make us aware by submitting a ticket, and we will gladly resolve it quickly. Another one, this one pertains to Jack as he is a company admin, is the approval email issue resolved. We had an issue within MyToyota where people who had registered for MyToyota were receiving the email to approve the next user before we had even approved their MyToyota account. So whenever somebody registers for MyToyota, it does all go through a manual vetting process where we review and make sure that the person registering is the correct person for the organization, as well as setting up any locations they may have made us aware of during the registration process. This can take anywhere between 1 to 7 business days for us to get the registrations completely resolved. And we don't want those company admins to receive those emails while we're still vetting out their account that they have other users waiting for their approval. So those emails will be stored until we have approved their account. And then once we have approved their account, the company admin will be notified that those users are waiting for their approval. Additionally, we had a TIPS API issue, which for dealerships, this is the system which we get our operator and repair manuals from. The operator and repair manuals were not loading for customers when the piece of equipment was being built by Raymond, but had the Toyota brand because of the way we were sending the call to that source system. We have fixed that, and in this next release that we are giving, customers should be able to receive their operator and repair manuals no matter if it was manufactured by Toyota or if it was manufactured by Raymond. And lastly, this one applies to Jack as well because he's a big customer of ours and he has a lot of data on MyToyota. We were experiencing slow load time. Our goal is to always have our page load in 4 seconds or less. That was not the case for Jack's account, and it was taking more than 4 seconds. For larger accounts that are over 800 pieces of equipment or 800 locations, we will never achieve that 4-second load speed. They have a lot of data, but we have changed the way that we are calling for the information to dramatically make that performance better. So Jack, as well as any larger accounts that are over that 800 locations or 800 vehicle thresholds, to see the improvements in our loading speed. If there are any bugs that you would like to report, at the last slide, we do have the support email address to report those issues, but we do take the user experience very seriously. So we hope that you guys report them to us and give us the opportunity to fix that experience for our customers. Now I'm going to pass it on to Lindley so that she can talk about the improvements within MyToyota Store.
Awesome. Thanks, Katina. I just had one quick one to go over today, so not too much more here. The cookie consent banner. So you may have already seen this. It is live currently, and I'm also sure that you've seen it in many other sites. So it's just going to pop up on the bottom of the screen. There's an option to accept all cookies, or you can customize, and it pops open a cookie preference area where you can manage your consent preferences. So just wanted to call that out, that is something you may see when you log in. And I think the next slide is just our summary slide here as a quick overview. I don't know, does anybody from the group have any last final comments on my team? I don't think so.
Sorry, I do not from my side.
I think the last.
I do have a poll though, really fast before we end.
Awesome.
Second. This is the most important question. Is how much did you enjoy this webinar today?
Love it. Right. And then
When will
we
the new
have.
dashboard? Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I did not share that earlier, and I apologize. I normally put it on the slide, but MyToyota's new dashboard, as well as the features, which I went over for the MyToyota side, and I realized my camera is not on the screen. On the MyToyota side, will be released on February 16th. Lindley, I don't know if you want to go over the MyToyota store, and then Lee, if you want to go over MyInsights.
Yeah, so just recapping on the MyToyota store, our go live date for upgrades, which is the majority of what I went over today, is March 23rd.
Yeah, and the features we showed off today should already be out production. for MyInsights.
That's fun.
Hey.
All right, we will be sending out this slide deck as well as putting the recording into YouTube and publishing it in the Dealer Help Center. So if you have anyone in your dealer network that was unable to attend today's webinar, you are more than welcome to share out that link or direct them to the Dealer Help Center to our library of these events so that they can get caught up on everything MyToyota related. We'll also send out the slide deck. So if you would like to create any articles around the new experience, you're more than welcome to. But if there is no other further questions, I am going to stop the recording, and I want to thank everyone for their time today. Thank you.
Steve, I see that you have a question. Please feel free to put it in the chat. I'm not sure, Katrina, if you can turn mic on, but he wanted to ask a question.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if
turn it on.
I have the ability to unmute him, or is this UIO improvement aligned with warranty? Yeah. So I'll go over the UIO and how it works within MyToyota really quickly because I see that there's a few questions about it. So the way that my fleet works within MyToyota is that it is aligned exactly to the UIO that the dealers see when they enter the SAP CRM system. The only difference is typically when the dealer logs in for the UIO administration work, so there's a default filter on it when you put that in customer number in that it for the last 10 years. We display any vehicle that has that in customer number associated to it despite the age of the equipment. So I do have a help article around it in the Dealer Help Center, but if you put in an in customer number that you know that it's on MyToyota and you take out that date range and then run it, that is the equipment that your customer is seeing on MyToyota. Now, if the customer presses move, we will do a validation to make sure that it's not on the fleet management program. If it's not on the fleet management program and it is solely on the warranty program, then we will send that information back to the UIO to where the approved MyToyota user had moved the piece of equipment because they have permission by the customer to be able to make updates within the MyToyota account. And so if they move it from location A to location B, we will make that update into the UIO, and then the UIO administrators will receive this email that is displayed on the screen right now. So we will tell you what the VIN was, the equipment ID, what the old in customer number was to the new in customer number, which I know if that new in customer number is not within your APR, then you can't see what the new address is. And then you can also see the new dealer number, which it went to. Customers can only move equipment within their own account. If it is an add request, then it could be going from company A to company B. It used to be a form that we had to send in, or the Southwest or Northern dealers that have a truck goes to Mexico or Canada. What happens? Okay, who handles connecting the Wi-Fi aspect of MyInsights? If it is an aftermarket kit, it is done through the mobile app, correct, Lee? Okay, he's nodding. And then if it is a new equipment one, then it should already be connected prior to delivery, correct?
I believe so. I can put some more information in chat. I would have to reach out, but I know we also do have an implementation team who specializes in that. So I'll ask them and put that in chat.
Okay.
Good question though.
Yeah. And then I see, is it used to be a form that we had to send on, or for Southwest or Northern dealers that have a truck goes to Mexico or Canada, what happens? Mexico is not on MyToyota, so we wouldn't allow like locations or users within Mexico to register for MyToyota. MyToyota is right now only supported in the US and Canada. So they could never move it to Mexico or add it to Mexico. But for Canada, we would send it to the Canadian UIO administrator if it changed to one of the locations within Canada. And then we will make sure that we follow up on the Wi-Fi question. If we don't do it in the chat, we can send it out in our email summary. I have a customer with locations in both Canada and US, and he can transfer the vehicles around. That is correct. That is allowed. Canada and US is supported with the UIO management, and that is aligned with what warranty has given us as well. As MyInsights Plus, my customer with MyInsights Plus has checklists. Is there something with the checklist in the MyInsights Plus that they fail or are not done, the forklift still operate?
Yeah, I was typing out a response to that one. So essentially the question was, and let me pull it up, or could you read it real quick, Katina, just for context for everybody?
I think if I am correct, there's some context that is like understood that isn't in it, but I think the question is if they fail or not. Okay, can we ensure that if it is failed or not done, could we ensure that the forklift does not operate? So if there's a failed checklist or if the checklist was not completed, can we block the forklift from operating?
Yeah, so that's a good suggestion, and essentially preventing an operator or a vehicle, preventing an operator from operating a vehicle or preventing a vehicle from being driven at period is actually going to be a feature that's available in our upcoming MyInsights Plus productivity package. And so that's kind of where we stand. So if you guys do want that in the future, I would suggest to your customer that they look forward to that.
Sounds like a great opportunity for MyInsights productivity. Opportunity and productivity. Do I get points for rhyming? Do we have any other questions? He has the MyInsights Plus with the checklist. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, that the intentions for the MyInsights Plus is that they have the ability to store and manage the checklist digitally, but it's not with the intentions of blocking operators, which will be a part of the MyInsights productivity package.
So everything around checklist functionality is actually delegated to our MyInsights compliance package, which is one above the MyInsights Plus package. And right now, that's the highest tier we have. And it'll allow a truck to be assigned a checklist and require operators to fill out that checklist. But there is no feature set right now or planned right now to prevent an operator from operating that vehicle if they don't fill out the checklist. For that, the vehicle would need to subscribe to MyInsights Plus Productivity when that comes out. I hope that answers your question.
And I think when we send out this slide deck, we do have a help article around what each one of the package offers are. So we'll go ahead and send that link so that you guys can review what each of the packages offerings do entail. And then if you have any specific questions in regards to that, we'll have a contact for you. And yes, you can always suggest ideas. We also have an idea link we can send out in the notes as well, so that all of your guys' ideas around any of our products can be submitted. All right. Well, those were all great questions, and they were really hard, but I think we made it through them. If there are no more questions, I am going to stop the recording, and then I'll be sure to send out the recording as well as all of those links I promised, hopefully by Friday, if I can turn around the link to the recording in time. But I appreciate it as always, and thank you for attending these. They're always helpful and insightful, so thank you.